Hey guys, Stealth here. I already reviewed the Gvosdika a little bit. I gave you a gameplay video of me using this artillery, but now it's time to actually go in depth with this vehicle. It's the first artillery unit that you can unlock in the Wolfley tech tree. And unlocking it really isn't that hard. The only thing that you have to do is play 50 battles. You don't even have to win them, just play 50 battles with the vehicles from this tech tree. And those can even be premium vehicles, so even if you're, say, only playing the LAV, the T92, maybe the MBT-70, you can just unlock this tech tree. Now bear in mind that you're going to jump in here at tier 4, which means that people have at least a couple of games under their belt and they start to know what they're doing, or at least they want to give you that impression. And with that, the artillery rounds become a little bit more difficult to place, because people will start to pull back into cover faster, they know more or less where they can and cannot get hit. That will make your job as an artillery unit a little harder. Now the stats of the Gvosdika are not that special. The damage that you do is 213, but this really depends on where you're hitting something. If you're hitting something in a weak spot, for example, say you're aiming at a Leopard 1 and you're hitting it in the engine block, I've seen this unit do 300 plus damage. Similarly, if you only splash an enemy target, you're not going to do 230 damage. You may do 150. Your splash radius on this unit is not that big, but you can catch some units in the splash range. But don't rely solely on the splash, as you might do with some of the bigger artillery units. It has a DPS of 1165. This is not something along the lines of a main battle tank or an AFV that does tons and tons and tons of damage per minute. But what it does do is hit module damage, or create module damage. And the more module damage that you cause, the less effective an enemy target will be. So that is your role on the battlefield, as far as I'm concerned. Now defense-wise, this vehicle has absolutely nothing going for it. It has 20 points of armor all round. Same for the turret, it only has a little under 600 hit points. Its armor is aluminum, so don't expect anything to bounce off of you, because it simply won't. Unless they get really unlucky and they hit your track, but that rarely happens. The vehicle can move up to a speed of 60 kph, although I have rarely seen it do so, and accelerating takes quite a while. It's just a heavy vehicle with a not very heavy engine, and that makes this vehicle not exactly the fastest. Vision range and camouflage are terrible, and you hopefully won't have to rely on these. If you do have to rely on these, the battle is pretty much lost, or you have an AFV or something like a fast tank destroyer in your base. At that stage, you're very, very unlikely to win anyway. As far as targeting goes, the main difference between this one and the M109, I'm going to pull up the stats of the other artillery piece at tier 4 as well, is that this one zooms in a lot faster. Your targeting time is only 3 seconds versus 5.44 seconds for the M109, and you will notice this difference. The Gvosdika is going to aim a lot faster, allowing for faster shots, faster relocation than the M109. But what the M109 has going for it is that the shells are slightly faster. But that's a soft stat that you simply don't see displayed here. You can also see that this thing is a precision SPG. It's all about hitting a target accurately. It's not like the other one, the M109, which is classed as a tactical artillery unit, which means that it's going to provide fire support over a larger area. Now, looking at the upgrade tree for this vehicle, you can see that you don't have that many upgrades. You can unlock improved HE rounds, or sorry, you start out with these HE rounds, these frag rounds. You can unlock a retrofit slot, and I would definitely recommend that you do this, because by doing this you can improve your firepower even more. You can unlock a smoke round, but I have found that they are not that useful. The reason for that is that you have to be really in contact with your teammates. So unless you're in a platoon, people are more likely going to be hindered by your smoke than helped. So either be on TeamSpeak and coordinate with people, or don't use them. I usually carry 4 rounds, mainly in very specific situations where, say, we're capping the base and I want to provide my teammates with a bit of smoke cover. Upgrading the engine will give you a little bit more of acceleration, so it is worth it in that sense, because you will want to relocate between shots. If you don't, then you're just going to take fire. The enemy artillery players will get a ping on their map, and moreover they can actually physically see you on the map. So once, or if you fire, make sure you move afterwards, or you're going to get counter batteried. As far as technology slots go, you start out with one universal retrofit slot. You can upgrade a better fire control system, which reduces that targeting time even more. And you can unlock another tech retrofit slot, which will help with aiming, visibility, etc. As far as the proven stats go, you can unlock another commander, and this one is a really good commander for artillery units. You can unlock gyroscopic stabilizers, and these are interesting things for tanks as well, because they improve reload and aim time. So if you have, for example, a high-end HE unit, say the Sheridan, this thing takes quite a while to aim, and unlocking this retrofit on the Gvosdika will help with that. And finally, you can get a bit of a cash influx by spending a bit of XP on that. As far as the commander goes, this is the commander that I have unlocked using this vehicle. And this commander is, as far as I'm concerned, mainly focused around anti-vehicle, based by artillery. You can see that you can swap between shells. Well, this is not necessarily a skill that you would need on artillery, but your aim time is improved, and this will be helpful for artillery, especially the M109, where I'm also using this commander, because with this I can get that targeting time down as far as possible. You can also pick Bullseye, which will improve your accuracy, but the accuracy on the Gvosdika is already really good, so I don't need that. The next skill that I have is Quick Relocation. And this will improve my acceleration in off-road circumstances. And usually in an artillery piece you are off-road. The faster you can accelerate, the faster you can get out of dodge, and the faster or the more difficult it is for the enemy units to start hitting you. The other upgrades that I haven't unlocked yet are Anti-Material Explosive, which improves module damage, or Anti-Personnel Explosive, which improves crew damage. And finally you got Fire When Ready, which improves your reload time. So while I use this commander for artillery, you can also use this guy for tanks and be very effective in that role. As far as ammo goes, I'm only going with 46 frag rounds, and I have never fired all of them, and 4 smoke rounds, because you never know, and you got a capacity of 50 rounds. Since I've never gone through these 46, I don't feel like I need to carry 50 of them. The retrofits, I have installed all of them. I went with the chrome barrel lining, which improves my damage and my accuracy. Now the Gvosdika is already really accurate, but with this I'm even more likely to start hitting exactly where I want that shot to land. The advanced thermal sleeve will help me with my reload time, so combining these and you get very nice accuracy, more damage, and more a better reload time, a higher rate of fire. And finally I got the intercom systems, which will train my crew up faster. Consumables I'm not really using. I have the mid-tier field maintenance kit in here for when I'm doing PvE with this thing. But otherwise I don't really use consumables on this vehicle. Alright, let's get into a PvP battle and show you what this thing can do. I'm going to pause the video here because the matchmaking for artillery sometimes can take up to 3 minutes, and I don't want you to suffer through that. So I'll be right back. Alright, we're in a match, and I'm at a tier 4 vehicle in a mostly tier 3 match. I know some people would call this a tier 4 match, but there's only 3 tier 4 units, 2 of which are artillery on each side. And they don't even have any other tier 4 units. So I'm in a pretty damn good position here. What you're going to see me do here is try and do as much module damage as possible. I am not going for kills, because I don't feel that that's my job. What I can do is damage vehicles and knock out modules, which will make them less effective and give my allies a better chance to start killing them off. So I'm going to try and get a decent position here. Also keep in mind that the actual layout of the road will impact your shots a little bit. So keep that in mind as you're going to relocate. In the beginning of the match it's always waiting around. I usually aim more or less where I'm expecting the enemy artillery, and with that I'm trying to get an early return fire shot if I see them lit up. Usually it doesn't happen, but what I can show you with this is how steady that aim circle is. Even if I swing the gun around a bit more aggressively, it aims in really quickly. And especially M109 players are going to be pretty jealous of this. Still looking for targets. Unfortunately our scouts aren't really doing their job. We get a BMP-1 here and a BMP-1 on the other side. But they still haven't spotted anything. But the most likely spot is either going to be in the middle or somewhere towards the right. Yep, here we go. M60 spotted. Always try to lead your shots and keep in mind that people will get an artillery notification warning. Now I did get some damage, 2 times track damage, 1 time spotting, 1 times optics and 1 times to the gun. And I'm gonna reverse now to make sure I don't get counterfire. This guy is going to be impossible to hit. Oh, by the way, here was a ping from an artillery unit. So I'm going to be looking here, trying to get that guy. Yep, there he is. He's backing up slowly, probably going to be about there when I fire. Shell out, and I did hit him, but only with splash damage. And the M109 is right next to him. I'm going to assume the M109 has stopped, ready to fire. And after every shot, I continue to relocate. I do not want to be caught out in the open. And even reversing is usually going to be fast enough. Okay, time to start bruising some targets. The Scorpion is a very, very lightly armored vehicle, which makes for an interesting artillery target. And there you go, I did 135 to him. And now I took a return fire shot from the Gvosdika on the other team. See, nobody's spotting these guys, so I don't have a good shot here. Now you don't have long to spot these targets, so if you want to try and get a return shell in, either be looking towards this area, or make sure that you zoom in really, really quickly. Where is this guy? He's making it very, very difficult for me to spot him with all that tree cover around. So I'm not going to start wasting my time on him. I'm going to instead try and get another shell into this M60, so he's an easier target for the Leopard. This 155 is behind a bit of ridgeline there, so he's going to be difficult to hit. There's an XM800 spotting there, and unfortunately I just cannot get it. Reticle is red, which means that there's an obstacle in the way. He's running away, so not an interesting target anymore, but here I got a good line of sight on these targets. Now what I have found is that units will usually reverse once they see that they're being targeted by artillery. So aiming actually a little bit behind a target will make it more likely that you're going to hit him. This guy is still moving up. Didn't get him, not even with the splash damage. But they're nice together there. Together, targets that are together are very interesting for me because I can splash them. And not sure where that shell went. Took another hit from the Gvosdika on the other team.
Direct hit.
216, that was a good one. But now I'm getting way too close to the conflict here. They can almost spot me just with their own optics. They don't even need counter-artillery. 234, knocked out a few modules again. Or at least I damaged them. I didn't knock them out completely yet. This M60 here is behind a building, impossible to hit. Got a Leo 1 here, but there is a bit of a bunker in the way. They are capturing the base, which means I gotta start decapping that. He's going to back up. 177. And now we got a BMP-1 on my right flank. This is very, very dangerous. I have no intention of staying here. Now you can see that my acceleration is not very good. And I have been spotted. I'm expecting a heat round. Yep, there we go. The acceleration isn't very good, and I didn't actually get up to that 60 kph that was promised in the specs, but so be it. Alright, I'm going to wait it out, and then I'm going to show you the stats screen. Alright, not the bestest of matches there. 500 XP, 28,000 credits, and I ended pretty damn low in the team. Unfortunately, I cannot show you exactly what I damaged, because that is still being worked on. So you only see that I did a bit of damage assist. I even spotted a target. That might have been that BMP. But other than that, this was a pretty terrible match. So let's see if I can do better next time around. The one thing that I forgot to highlight in the previous discussion is the shell travel speed. And this is something that you can see once you're hovering over these shells. You can see that this round has a speed of 300 meters per second, which is an okay speed for an artillery round. But it is not as fast as the HERE round, the HERE round, which travels at 330. The same one this is the same one as the standard one, but this one does a bit more damage, but more on that as I discuss the 109. But the 109 can get their shells on target faster, so you're more likely to hit with that one. You're going to have to give the target a bit more lead with the Gvosdika. Alright, back to the matchmaking. Alright, another match loaded in, and this one is again very, very favorable for my tank, or for my artillery unit. I'm teamed up with a 109 and a Jalo as our tier 4s. The enemy only has one Gvosdika as a tier 4 and another Abbott as an artillery unit, and they have an AMX 10P90. The rest of it is mostly tanks on our side, with only one spotter, that AMX 10P. They only got one spotter as well in the form of the BMP-1. So spotting stuff is going to be mostly done to the tanks. Now on this map sometimes you will spawn outside the main spawn area, and that's exactly what happened here. Usually I try to relocate as fast as possible to make sure that I don't get caught out in the open if my team decides to go another way. You can see that steering this thing is not the best. It usually takes quite a while for it to actually start changing course. By the way, you don't have to start aiming right away once the match starts, as I showed you last gameplay. You have a bit of time before you start actually spotting targets. And those targets on the other side of town are probably not going to be able to get a hit anyway. Let's just fire a snapshot there. No, didn't quite get him. Relocating, making sure I don't get countered. And already spotted an artillery unit there. It's the Gvosdika moving about. Let's see, he was moving slowly. I'm expecting him to move for about 3 seconds and stop. So let's fire, see what happens. Didn't get him. Ammo up. The Abbott is firing multiple rounds. There you can see him. He's moving pretty fast. Let's get my shell over there. By the way, be sure to use the stats and the info that the game gives you. I know that my shells travel at a speed of 300 meters per second. And once you zoom in, you're going to see that this unit is 600 meters away. So it takes my shell 2 seconds to get there. So I want to get my shell to go where the tank's going to be in 2 seconds. Now another really weird round there, I'm not sure where that went. See, the Leo will probably start reversing once he sees artillery coming in, and smack onto the target. And a lot of module damage done there. T62 here is also quite in the open. He's going to be about there in 2 seconds. 1, 2, got him. You can just count it out and see when and where your shell needs to be. Clustered leopards here. Perfect target for me. But our left flank is failing fast. We got absolutely nothing left there. Let's see, I want to hit the T-62 again. He's behind that ridge line. He's gonna be about there. Yep, 91. Not that much though. Time to start relocating because we got 4, maybe 5 vehicles coming in from the other side. Time to start running. I don't think I can hit that M60. Maybe if I stop for a minute. Shell out. He's only 300 meters away, so this is going to take 1 second. Full damage. I have been spotted, probably by the M60 itself. Just lob another shell in that general direction. I did hit him, but I didn't penetrate him. Now I cannot get a shot on that leopard yet. He's too far away. And I think that my team is basically screwed at this stage. We got a setback of 6 tanks. And that is really hard to come back from. Not only that, but I have absolutely nowhere to go where I get a good firing position. This guy's looking for the artillery units. Not good enough. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty terrible loss. And again, I only did 600 damage. If you want to get some good gameplay, where I do a lot of damage, I'm going to link to the gameplay that I put on my channel earlier of the Gvosdika. Leo is far and deep entrenched there. And I'm taking fire from all sorts of stuff. The Abbot, the Scorpion, the Leopard. Yep, there you go. Pretty terrible match. And I'm not sure how my team died this quickly. But because I was forced to run early on, I didn't get a lot of damage done. So I'm going to pause it again, try to get another good game in here. Well, so this match was even worse than the last one. 400 experience. Ended halfway through the team, so just keep in mind that the best player on this team did only 1600 damage. Alright, to the next. Okay, we got some different matchmaking this time around with a mostly tier 4 game. The enemy has quite a few heavy tanks, a lot of T-64s in there, an OF-40, some light tanks, Sheridans, scout vehicle BMP, or I know it's called an armored fighting vehicle, but they work as a spotter just as well. Shallow, 2 Gvosdika, so we can expect accurate artillery. And we have a lot of T-64s, starships, Sheridan, swing fires, and Gvosdikas, as well as a couple of tier 3s. Now usually I aim all the way over there, 8-9 line. That is usually a position where you can really easily score multi-target hits, because it's a corner where most tanks start to do peekaboo tactics. So they try to go around the corner, try to land a shell, and then peek back or pull back around the corner. So I'm pre-aimed pretty far, and you can see that I can actually shoot right over this little ridge line that's up here, the edge of the mountain, which makes for unexpected rounds. Unfortunately, it seems that we don't have a lot of spotters going that way. Mostly tanks, including some light tanks. Sheridan could work as a spotter there, although with its ATGMs it does need a spotter of its own. There's a first target. Distance is 800 and closing fast. He's probably gonna park up behind that, which works for me. 211. And the targets that I want to go for are these weak tank destroyers. They are really easy to take a lot of damage. As you just saw, that wasn't even my round. There's a T-62, which I can barely see. He is reversing. Distance is 3 seconds out, but he's not moving anymore. And the starship got the kill. Now we can knock out this one. That will take care of their best spotter vehicle. Again, I didn't do anything there, but I'm taking return fire. This guy is going to be more difficult to reverse. So pulling back. I've probably got 2 artillery units firing at me right now. Yep. That means we're going to have to relocate to a different zone, get a little closer to the conflict. And with that, they're not going to be finding me as easily. Because they are definitely both looking at my position. Which does mean that they're going to be not firing at my allies. Shell out.
Target hit.
159, and I destroyed his tracks, so this guy's now completely stopped.
Ammo up.
Ammo up, let's see if I can finish him off. Shell out.
Nailed him.
176. It's not dead yet.
Ammo up.
I'm going to continue to move forward. I do not want to get caught out here. Let's pull back a little bit. Didn't get that 264 there. If someone could spot him, that would be great. There's a light tank up there. Yeah, that's a Sheridan. You can see that this thing is just bombing it around the terrain. Let's try and get him there.
Penetrated.
Good hit. Almost 200 damage there. A lot of module damage. Another shell out, and he is just standing there. 138. Their Gvosdikas might not be moving around as much as they should. Shell out.
Penetrated.
Hit him for 87. Those things have 585 health. So it's going to take a few rounds before they actually die. There's a swing. Oh, hello. Can I spot you? Yeah, there you are. Although it's going to be difficult to get a good shot on target there.
Nailed him.
Did get him. And there's the Gvosdika again. But now he's completely in cover. Let's see if I can hit this one. Shell out. Not sure where that went. Took too long to get there. These guys are unfortunately in a bit of cover. I have to close in and try to get the obstacles out of the way. You can see that now I'm massively on the winning team. Try to get a shell in there before someone else kills him.
Direct hit.
No, I'm not going to kill him, but I'm going to do a little bit of more damage there.
Ammo up.
You can see that this terrain is not the best to do artillery plays with. I'm trying hard to get good shots on these targets, but I'm just not in the right position. And I'm probably not going to be in the right position before they win. There, 15-0 victory. So that's the other side of the medal. Alright, let's wait for the result screen. See, this is a bit better. I got 1600 XP, and yes, I've already unlocked the vehicle, so it doesn't really matter, but I was just doing this for the review. Performance-wise, let's base this on XP. I didn't do that much. I didn't do as much as I had wanted to do. It's not unusual for me to get 2000 XP in a game like this, but I just couldn't pull it off with these 3 games I just showed you. So I apologize for that, but I got some other gameplay up of the Gvosdika that you can watch and see how I perform there. But I hope that with this gameplay and the review you got a bit of an idea of how the Gvosdika works, strengths, weaknesses, and how you can play this thing. Final note, I would recommend that you get this thing soonest, especially because the grind on the Gvosdika itself isn't that long, and you can skip over a tier 5 and get the Akatsia right away. Yes, it's expensive, it's 4 million, but if you're going to have to go through the grind of another tier 5, which may get added later, that is going to take a lot more time. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe to my channel, and if you have a question about the vehicle, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer it. Thanks for watching, see you next time.